Namaste one and all. Today we will discuss about principles of curriculum. So what are the major principles while we are planning for a curriculum or while we are designing a curriculum or even thinking about a curriculum? So there are so many principles. But in this presentation, I am focusing on these 5 principles: that principle of relevance, principle of flexibility, principle of quality, principle of plurality, and principle of integration. So let us see the details of these principles. First of all, the principle of relevance. So it's the relevance of the program or the relevance of curriculum as such, and the relevance of various components in the curriculum. So the principles of relevance shall be having different dimensions. The first is relevance of the program, whether this program is relevant, whether the forthcoming multiple entry exit programs will be relevant, the 4-year integrated B.Ed program, whether it is relevant. So that relevance of the program, that is the first aspect, should be taken care of while planning for a curriculum. For that, the first question we have to answer satisfactorily, whether the program is relevant. And the second is the curriculum as such, whether the curriculum is outdated. What about the existing curriculum, the school curriculum, the curriculum at higher education level, especially in the context of this current online distance education, whether we can move along indefinitely with that curriculum that we have designed before this pandemic period. So that signifies the relevance of the curriculum. And the third level, or more specific level, the components. We have already discussed in details about the various components of curriculum, such as objectives, content, experiences, assessment. So whether each of these components are relevant or not. So we have to examine, we have to ensure, make sure each of these components shall be relevant when we are designing a curriculum. So that's the significance of principle of relevance in curriculum. So the next principle, the principle of flexibility. The flexibility, you know what is flexibility. Means there are various provisions. It should not be rigid. Provisions to adapt with learners of difference in abilities. That is flexibility. There will be option for learners with multiple capacities, multiple abilities. So you know that there are gifted, average, and slow learners, usually in any class. Along with that, we are in the period of inclusion. There shall be some learners with other challenges also in the class, can be. So there shall be provision for all types of learners in the curriculum. At present, we are following a one-size-fits-all curriculum. The same curriculum for all type of learners. So that should not be happen. When we are designing a curriculum, there shall be provision to meet the needs of all these variety of types of learners. Then there shall be provision for options according to interests. That's the second level of flexibility. First is with respect to the type of learners or the category of learners, mental abilities, etc. And the second level of flexibility shall be with the interest of the learners. In a class, we know if we are in a class, each of us coming into a class with different interest. So there shall be provision to cater to these differences in interest of learners. And there shall be provision accordance with the pace of the learner. Not all the learners can move along in the same speed, same pace. It is not with not due to any kind of backwardness, but some other academic reasons or some problems in the learning background, some conflict with the learning experiences, something like that. It may not be a disability or an inability. It may be the problem of the system. So there shall be provision that enable learners to complete the program according to their pace, their speed, as and when they are able to complete within a specific duration. Then there shall be ample experiences and resources while designing a curriculum. There shall be wide range of experiences as well as resources for the realization of the curriculum. All that shall be incorporated. Then there shall be varied procedure for assessment. Assessment procedure also. In the one-size-fits-all curriculum, what we are following, we are focused on written test, achievement test till now. Whether it is pandemic or not, whether students are able to attend the institution or not, we are sticking with the plan, original plan. We ask them to write face-to-face examinations. We are not even thinking about providing a set of online, a series of online examinations with respect to each and every topic. Then we have to make it more comprehensive. So all such provisions shall be there in assessment also. So that's flexibility. Different kinds of provisions. Provisions according to difference in abilities, difference in interest, difference in pace of learning, then provision for variety of experiences and resources, as well as provisions, varied provisions in assessment in the form of various tools and techniques. So that's the second principle, flexibility. The third, the principle of quality. So the quality principle direct for the significance of the curriculum. How far this curriculum is significant? Is it futuristic, future directed? Or whether all these experiences, objectives, etc. will have to be outdated immediately after the learners completed the program. It should not be like that. It is a saying that if we plan for education, plan for 100 years. So curriculum shall be futuristic in nature to ensure its quality. It shall be life oriented. The elements of life, it shall be linking with life. It should not be separated from life. Because life of individuals shall be taken as an index of designing curriculum. It shall be purposeful and applicable in relevant fields. And it shall be linked with the field of application. Nowadays, there is a move towards linking of education with industry. It is not all the time the industry. In certain subjects, we can say that we can link it with industry. But in education, it also is nowadays transforming as a big industry. In such a sense, we can say education also. Or in general sense, the respective field. The programs, the curriculum shall be directly linked with the pulses in the field, needs and requirements of the field, the forthcoming developments in the corresponding fields. In education, the forthcoming changes in education sector, education field, that is in the nature of teaching. Gradually, that teaching is diminishing and more prominence is obtaining to learning. From the part of learning, focus is more on learning. So what the teachers are supposed to do is to design learning experiences, learning materials, and assess learners or help them to assess themselves. So there will be a shift in the behavior of teachers. So if we want to ensure quality in a teacher education curriculum, we have to ensure these qualities in the future teachers. They shall be capable of transforming. The transformation. Such elements shall be there in the curriculum. Then in order to ensure quality, there is a mechanism, benchmarking. You might have heard about the ISI mark, etc. Similarly, there are benchmarking system. Such system ensure the respective standards for different educational programs also. It actually came from management field, but now it comes to education also. So benchmarking by institution, an institution can set certain standards. Our expected standard list of standard is like this. The teachers or teacher educators trained, developed from our institution shall have these and these standards. The first of all, the institution shall develop a set of benchmarking standards. Then there shall be standards assigned by higher authorities such as UGC, NCT, etc. These and these standards shall be there for the curriculum as well as for the program. So that's why the 1-year teacher education programs were transformed into 2-year programs by incorporating more elements, more activities, practical components, etc. So whether it is enough, adequate for the future teaching or future education sector, that we have to assess later. So whatever it is, the benchmarking is a system of assessing or assigning quality to programs, education, or any kind of products, outcomes. Then process and procedure of curriculum development. That is another feature which determine the quality of curriculum. how the curriculum is being designed. Who designed it for whom? Is it a one man or one person program or designed by a single person and it is compiled? Say, for example, in uh, teacher education, we are having so many courses. There are various courses, core courses, elective courses, etc. Especially courses on these specific subjects, languages, mathematics, sciences, physical sciences, biological sciences, history, computer science, etc. And whether this curriculum for these separate courses is developed by a single person or by a group, or whether the draft curriculum is disseminated widely to get suggestions on it. You might have remembered the NCF 2005, National Curriculum Framework 2005. It was the first document which was shared throughout the nation before its finalization. And after that, there are so many such documents in the draft form shared for wide dissemination and discussion to receive suggestion. So it's our responsibility. In a democratic country, it's the responsibility of the citizens to study all these things and to provide our suggestions. That's why we are educated. That's the reason. That's the way in which we can contribute to the welfare of the nation. There are so many such documents which are notified or released by the central as well as state governments nowadays. So many bills, the draft bills also has been notified in our gazette for the time being, and unfortunately many of them receive no response from the public as mentioned by the governments. So that's a responsibility. Unfortunately, we do not know we have such a power or such a responsibility to do. So whatever it is, the process and procedure of curriculum development, who develop it for whom, and what is the process, whether it is developed single-handedly, is there any continuous discussion, revision, etc. in that process. Then compilation and review of structure and sequence. That's another feature which determine the quality of curriculum, how it is compiled. And there shall be compilation problems when each and every course of the program included in the program is developed individually. And finally, all these compiled together. So naturally, there will be overlapping of topics, subjects, activities, misplacement, wrong placement of activities, etc. As well as the structure of the program. According to the new ABC Academic Bank of Credit, we can discuss detail in another presentation. And it is mentioned that a learner complete first year of a course will be certified if she or he discontinued the program, if successful to acquire certain minimum number of credits. Then on the completion of second year, awarded by a diploma certificate. So is there a change from the semester system to year system which is not clear in that statement? So that also in such kind of changes, reforms, the review of the structure, existing structure, whether the semester system is fruitful, whether we have to change it. So such compilation of courses within a program as well as its structuring, especially in the case of teacher education, this semester system is not at all uh, feasible because the teacher education go in side by side with school education. The school education follows an academic year format. We also, it's better to follow such a format instead of the semester system of some other programs, all other programs. Then program evaluation procedure. But procedure we follow to evaluate the program means the entire curriculum of the program. Or if we evaluate it, that's another question. So there are specific steps, specific techniques to evaluate a program when the program is underway or once it is finished or the first batch of students passed out from the program. So it's a continuous process as well as a comprehensive process, the evaluation of the program. So whether it is taken care of properly, that also determine quality of the curriculum. So significance, then there shall be specific standards such as benchmarking, then the process by which the curriculum is being developed, its organization, that is compilation as well as evaluation. Then principle of plurality means it should cater to the needs of a multicultural society. You know that we are living in a multicultural society, not a unitary society. They are having people of different gender, culture, religion, beliefs, etc. There are so many disparities, languages, etc. There shall be mixed abilities, multiple interests. So in any case, in our classrooms, that's why we signify our classrooms as mixed classroom, culturally mixed, ability mixed, interest mixed. So that's a normal feature of our classes. So a curriculum should cater to such diversities. And this plurality share few elements common in principle of flexibility. In flexibility, we say all these things. And more than that, that is flexibility. In plurality, we should provide specific inputs for language, such as usages, gender sensitization. So in most of our writings, we can see it is a dominance of male gender previously. And nowadays people are getting aware of that. It should not be when the usages should be either he or she instead of he or him. So that's a change. Then also there are preference for the third gender or the transgender. And such identification of various elements in the society. Then negotiation with learners. What are their needs? What are their interests? What are their problems with respect to any, in order to avoid any kind of discrimination. Then diverse choice of courses, not only within the topics or experiences, there shall be choices of courses. So say for example in the fourth semester for you there shall be 3 groups of subjects, 3 groups of courses ABC. and you have to select one from a set of 4. So it's a choice of courses as well as choice in experiences and in assessment, etc. are helpful to ensure plurality. It shares some aspects of flexibility, but it is more focused. Focused to include all kind of learners specifically. Then principle of integration. So that's another relevant principle, because everything shall be integrated properly, otherwise all these things will be remain as watertight compartments. So unification of essential aspects towards common outcome. So the purpose of curriculum is to develop a common outcome. So there shall be proper integration between various elements, different courses, different activities, experiences within the program, within the curriculum. And the integration shall be multidisciplinary. We have to integrate with those we are taking from different disciplines. So in teaching, in teacher education, we are having input from various disciplines: philosophy, sociology, psychology, statistics, then various subjects, history, all these things. Then there shall be interdisciplinary integration. There shall be a common theme. The curriculum shall be designed around a common theme by incorporating elements of various disciplines, such as skills and concepts of few disciplines. So in disciplines such as language, science, history. So when we are studying science, we will naturally study the history as well. And we are studying it in a specific language, a scientific language, scientific terminology. So in language also there are specific usages, and there are many scientific applications as well. And there are also history of language. In history also, it is studied in a scientific way, not only as his story, it is now progressing in a scientific way, scientific analysis, scientific explanation, scientific language. So we can such kind of integration, there shall be interdisciplinary integration. In all these things, there shall be integration of gender sensitization for gender sensitive usages. So that's a second kind of integration. And transdisciplinary, it is contextual in nature, in which the curriculum is more flexible. It is centered around the learner's perceptions, learner's clarification, learner's questions, as we might see in the issue-based approach, the critical pedagogy of Freire, the learner negotiation with learner for ensuring the process of education according to their demands, their interests, their needs, etc. So that integration also shall be necessary, whether it is multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, or transdisciplinary. So these are the most important principles while considering a curriculum, its development, its design. So thanks for watching the presentation. Thank you all.